Okay, here we are, our morning coffee chat. I don't think we did one last week because
it was Nature Week.
Oh, it's Nature Week, and we were planting 8 trees. It was so beautiful. All the kids digging in the dirt, planting trees, and the dads and moms and teachers. I mean, it was a beautiful experience. I did notice one thing. It started to get hot, and in the other day, Chelsea, remember was that yesterday? I was walking by or 2 days ago, and I was in the restroom, and there was this big old student, a 6th grader, and he was looking like he was gonna faint, and he was even like acting goofy. So I stopped and went in and said, "Are you okay?" And immediately I knew the guy was not okay. So I hugged him up and carried him, kind of dragged him down the hallway to Chelsea. And as soon as Chelsea opened the door, you recognized, oh, this guy's in distress, right?
Definitely. It's kind of scary. I hate to see our students like that. So I'm so excited Mary's here to inform us about some things.
Yeah, so we are in the season, folks, of the hot heat of Arizona. It's just what we live through. The North lives through blizzards and snow and all kinds of stuff. Our blizzards and snow is 115-degree weather, 100-degree weather for so many days. So we don't want to ignore this thing. And so we have a special friend, a good friend of Paideia's, Mary Munoz. What should I say? Encinas, but what do you go by? Mary Munoz?
Yeah, either one.
Mary, our friend Mary, and I want her to introduce herself to you, because over the last 2 or 3 years, we were doing a lot of work with heat mitigation, heat readiness with Adora. And you took Adora's spot, or tell us about you, Mary.
Why, thank you. First, thank you for having me on today. So great to be here. Yes, I have been transitioning into Adora's spot. Adora basically started this amazing project called HeatReady Schools in ASU. And we are basically, our aim is to help schools be ready for the heat season and beyond, because we know that our issue with getting prepared for the risks that heat poses is not just for the summer, right? In Arizona, it can be way above just, August and September. So it's really all about being aware of what those risks are for our student population and our staff, our admin, and what can we do, right, to be ready for it in terms of infrastructure, of training or awareness. So I'm going to be chatting about that a little bit today with y'all.
Excellent. Now, over the last 2 years, everybody's aware of all the videos that came out for our transformation of our campus to more naturescape. But those Palo Verde trees, they're still little, and all the shrubbery around help with everything. The vines haven't grown up. So our hope is that when the vines cover the buildings and the trees are big in about 5 years, that we can have that as part of our heat mitigation strategy. But even then, like Mary said, it's still hot as hot. All right, Mary, take us away, teach us, and then we'll open it up to some parent comments and whatever in about maybe 10 till or so, about 15 minutes.
Sounds good. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
There we go. Nice.
There you go. Here's hoping that, there we go. Okay, so first let's talk about kind of the scarier stuff that we need to be aware of, right? That we live in one of the hottest places on Earth. We do feel it, but let's acknowledge it. Like, it is one of the hottest places on Earth. We're all exposed to heat risk and to heat illness. Some of us are more at risk than others, such as young children, the elderly, people with comorbidities or pre-existing conditions, and people that work outdoors. Heat illness is one of the leading causes of death for athletes, because of course during training, students get really excited. Hey, there's a next championship coming up. They really put all their efforts out there, but of course the heat's still out there. They forget that they need to get water breaks and all that. So that really can affect their health. And really numbers do go up every year in terms of the ER visits in Arizona. So it's something that we really have to keep our eye on. Here, I wanted to share some pictures in terms of the heat monitoring that we have been conducting. We have been doing these all across the valley. These are some of the pictures that we have taken in South Phoenix. So the ones on the left are heat readings that we conducted in a playground in South Phoenix. So if you notice, the blues are the cooler temperatures, and the reds, of course, are the really, really hot temperatures. And, you know, playgrounds, we're out there with the kids all day. They can get super hot. Imagine going down that slide and then suddenly, like you can get actual like 2nd, 3rd degree burns just from your playground. So, you know, we build these because we want to play around, we want to get all that energy out, but we forget that these materials can get super hot. So it is part of this awareness that we can improve these environments. And then these with the kiddos on the right, if we don't have enough shade provided for them, well, they will seek the coolest area in the playground, even if our trees, like Brian said, are just still growing their little shrubs. They will huddle underneath them, right? It is the coolest spot. So like the school is just doing, adding more trees, even though it is a process, waiting for them to grow, it is a great step because we're forward looking for the future. There will be more
We
shade.
recognize those kids on the right, by the way.
They're your kiddos.
Yeah, those are our trees, our kids. Yeah, I recognize them.
Yeah, we, like you said, we have a great relationship with Paideia. Got lots of great pictures. So let's talk about what is a heat ready school. Why am I here? What is important about it? Well, being a heat ready school is a school that's able to identify, prepare for, mitigate, track, and respond. That's a kind of a loaded thing, but basically, how can you recognize what your school is doing in terms of responding to the impacts of heat? And here we say school ground heat. It doesn't mean just playground, but your whole school environment. And this means, okay, like Chelsea said, I saw this kid and it was kind of scary, right? This kid was already being kind of flustered. That, right? Being able to recognize the signs of heat distress on kiddos, being able to recognize the physical structure. Can we shelter kids from heat, from the sun? Do we have enough in our facilities to hydrate our children? Basically, all the components to keep them safe and healthy during the heat season. So our goal is to improve those safeties and protections for the children that are exposed to extreme heat during the school day, especially since schools are community hubs. They're not just a place for your kid to go in and out during the day. The schools are part of your life for your kids, right? They're integral parts of your life, and they're not just for the kids, they're for families, they're for staff, they're for neighbors. It is a true community. So if a school is more prepared, the whole neighborhood, the whole community will be more prepared, and as an expansion from there, the whole city will then grow in its preparedness to withstand the heat and the climate change that is a bigger issue more. So, okay. So if the schools take action to mitigate the effects of extreme heat, then you become a heat ready school. You become a champion for this. You can now be assured that you are doing the best you can to protect your kids in terms of their heat safety, right? Their health. And we have 5 key action areas in this regard. We have school policy. So which guidelines are you following in your school so that you have a protocol if there's a heat emergency, if there's a heat wave, that okay, recess is going to have to be done indoors. For instance, if it's 115 degrees out, we can't send you out. Things like that. The environment. I'm sorry?
Chelsea, you call that, right? You monitor, and it's Chelsea's stewardship to say, hey.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, very good.
And most of those are sent by alerts, right, from the National Weather Service or the state. So that's an easy thing to see the alert. All right. And then Chelsea goes, guys, we're coming back in. So things like that are a good way to start. And then the environment, like I said, make sure that trees are being planted so that we have enough shade, or that we can install some mesh, or that the picnic tables for recess are being brought where the shaded area is, things like that. Adjustments that we can make in schools so that you are protecting the kiddos a little bit better. If schools don't already have the shade or the access to trees, this is where we facilitate those connections with community partners such as Trees Matter, or grant funding from state or other community partners, so that you guys can get access to that.
We want to do a shout out to Trees Matter. That's true. Good job, Paulina, and all Trees Matter. They're a great partner of ours.
We love them. They're so fantastic. And also, they're not just for schools, right? They do it all valley-wide. So if any of you guys, parents out there, are like, "Well, my neighborhood could use some more trees," reach out to Trees Matter. They're fantastic org. And then training and education, right? The awareness of the staff and the admin and the kids too. Like, well, what is extreme heat? Who is at risk, right? Just like having that education within the whole community. So
let me pause you right there, Mary. Let's go to Chelsea again. Chelsea, I don't remember now in our summer training, the chief medical officer being, okay, tell me about this training. Do we have something like that for the summer teacher stuff?
For summer, so usually what we will do, we'll send out like mass emails. We get alerts from Arizona Department of Health or Maricopa County as far as when it's going to be a hot day. But usually what I'll do is
you do training to our staff and everybody, like the playground, everybody.
Yes, and I usually have like one-on-one talks when I can get to everybody, because it gets pretty busy, but I do. And this year we're hoping to get something in place to get the scholars involved as well to help. But yes, they do get some training going. I want to push it a little bit harder this year.
Yeah, I agree.
So we will definitely work on that.
All right.
And Brian, that's something that on our side we can help facilitate as well, because we are in fact developing a curriculum for heat emergency preparedness for teachers.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Connection.
That's something that will go your way as well. And then the last two, of course, prevention, right? Making sure that you already have first aid kits, enough supplies, right? For, okay, we have enough water, we have enough, hydration stations, all that stuff already in your environment. And then the community, right? Being engaged with staff, neighborhood, parents for all of those alerts. Making sure that, hey, we're going to have this tree planting event, we're going to be doing this training, all that stuff, so that you're all in the loop. So those are our main action areas, so that we're all heat ready, so that we're all involved, because we're not in a bubble. We're all in each other's lives, right? It all, like, being at risk and being able to prevent any of these heat illnesses, it involves all of us.
Yeah, true.
So you guys are already a heat ready school. You guys are already in the process. You're already heat ready champions. But if any parents out there are like, well, I have a friend of mine that is thinking about it, or has a school that might be involved, hey, check us out at engageu.org/heatreadyschools. Or you can just reach out to me. I'll send my info in the chat. But let me show you some of our materials here. In our classrooms, sometimes we lay out our actions in one of these posters, right? Okay, what actions can we take to find external resources for projects? Or what are things that we'd like to do but are kind of difficult to accomplish? Once we lay them all out, we can see the steps or plan for the steps that we want to take. And this is really great when students want to get involved as well. This is not just something that staff and admin have to do for themselves, because that's also another thing to add to our big bucket of things that we already have to do. If we make it something more inclusive, more engaging for our students as well, because this is, once again, part of their lives, part of their everyday, right? Having them involved in the process is something really cool as well.
Chelsea, I wonder if we could think about in the Leader in Me process, we have leadership roles. And I wonder if this could be through your department, a leadership role to have a group that understands this and represents the scholars to their classes or the community, and they become the champion of this. Wait, is that something we could work on, do you think?
Well, yes, sir. I've already actually got something in place called the
Of course
Paideia
you
Cares
do.
team. So I was typing it up yesterday, but I have shirts designed. We're going to be Paideia Cares, and we'll have something in place outside that these scholars will be the leaders, and kind of help keep an eye out with scholars showing signs or symptoms of just these heat-related illnesses. So we're getting there. I'm excited.
Of course.
That's so cool.
Good job, man.
You guys are already step ahead. That's awesome. So that's it. I want to show you a little snippet of our HeatReady school scorecard. This is basically the way schools assess how they stand at the moment, the way they start their HeatReady schools assessment or journey, really. They get this scorecard. This is just part one. It has all 5 action areas in it. So for instance, here they have the school policy one, and it has all the recommendations or part of the rubric, and they go along and talk with the group, whether it be like the scholars, like Chelsea said, or their staff, whoever is involved in the planning group. And they go, okay, do we have a formal guideline for, heat planning or heat related actions? Like, well, we have some protocols, but they might not be in a formal guideline. Okay, let's give us a 3, because it's semi-formal. Okay, so then we score ourselves that way. So we go down the rubric, and then depending on that score, we get a level of heat readiness. And then that's where we come in again and talk with you guys, talk with the school and say, okay, what area do you think we need to tackle first? And we help you elevate that readiness. So then we start building up there, right? Until you feel like, yeah, we are the heat ready school that we want to be, right? So it is a process. It takes some time, but that's the whole thing, right? It's a game. It's like, yes, let's build up to be that awesome school that is.
And I think maintenance on it too, Mary, because, you know, we could become it one year, and then if we don't keep reviewing and reassessing ourselves, we might slip, right? Because other things take over.
Yeah. And then there's also like changes in circumstances. Like, oh yeah, we absolutely had this on top of us, but then, you know, this staff member left, or there was changes in funding, like anything could happen, right? So it's a great thing to just like keep communication going or reassess the areas of need, right? Because it might be more pressing to install shade right now than to maybe do a revamping of the training, right? So like you assess your priorities by the school, and then little by little, right, build up on all of them. But it is really not a one size fits all. That is why we go school by school to assess this case. You do this assessment by yourself first, and then we start that conversation. Okay, where do we want to build up first? Yeah.
Very good. All right.
So that's it. If any of you would like to reach out and start this conversation or just want to learn more about it, that's my info. I'll add it in the chat as well. And if you guys have any questions.
All right, parents, I see there's several on. If you have any questions for Mary or Chelsea, now's your opportunity, even to raise your hand, click in. I'm happy to click you in as well. Sometimes
I have a question for Mary, if that's okay. Mary, what kind of clothes would you suggest scholars wear in these hotter days?
Lightweight clothes, light colors. If ever possible, something with UPF, right? Something with solar protection. I know those are kind of hard to come by, but that would be ideal. Long sleeved and light would be amazing, because of course it's really hot and we're like, I don't want anything on my arms. I want something light, but the sun does get to us, and sunburned we get somewhere
I
so
remember I grew up in this area, and we had my grandfather, and they had acreage out here, and they're just dirt farmers, but they had cows and stuff. And I remember, and we had beehives and boxes. And I remember my grandfather and all the other helpers and different people that all have their look like white Sunday shirts, their collar up, and a long sleeve all the way down, buttoned up. And me and my brother's like, I ain't wearing a long sleeve shirt, until it's like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I'll wear a long sleeve shirt.
yeah. So if you can cover your skin as much as you can, that would be the best. And if you can't, sunscreen. Sunscreen's a must. Even when you see that, hey, it's kind of overcast, it's kind of cloudy, the UVB and UVA rays will still get to you.
I think it'd be a good idea on that is, I wonder, Chelsea, if we could poll our parents to see, because all of our sleeves are short sleeve, because it's just kind of like, it kind of makes sense-ish. But I wonder if we polled our parents, said, would you buy the lighter weight long sleeve shirts for a little bit more money, and see what, I always wear long sleeve shirts. I prefer them. I wonder if that'd be something we could do.
I think we should. I really do. And I think it starts with us. Maybe, you know, all the staff start wearing them. And I think when that starts happening, the kids see kind of how cool the shirts are as well. They'll jump in.
I'm going to pull a parent in here, because I'm going to embarrass. She emails me all the time. So now I'm going to put her on the spot. So Melissa, Mrs. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Give us some feedback. What are you thinking? I'll put you on the spot.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I feel if you go to lighter weight and long sleeve, maybe stretch it a little bit. I know you want the Paideia logo on there, but I think a lot more parents would be willing to do like different colors if they had an option to like maybe get it somewhere a little bit cheaper.
No. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think we could expand our wardrobe colors and the length of the sleeve. But I know the younger kids, it's cotton, isn't it? It's a thicker cotton, Chelsea?
It is. It is.
Yes.
All right, who else wants to chime in? I see Miss Hobays. I know she always likes to talk to me. All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot now.
I'm not a fan of long sleeve myself.
Yeah.
I think if the short sleeve shirts were that, you know, lighter weight material versus that cotton, that would be something we would definitely, you know, buy. And I know it's a little bit more expensive with the Paideia name from the school, but if it benefits the school, I mean, I'm for that more than buying it at another place. But
and the logo,
yeah, I think if
it's not that
they
much.
get that lighter, yeah, I think if they can get that, like, you know, that different kind of like the keep cool material stuff, that would be nice. Bella doesn't ever burn, so I don't really worry about it as much, but I do still put sunscreen on her just to protect her. But yeah.
Very good. All right, anybody else want me to embarrass them and call on them? I don't know the others as well. Hey, also Miss Hobays, Miss Gonzalez, I know two of you are I hope on our Family Lighthouse Committee. Is this something that a Family Lighthouse Committee like our PTO would want to have a voice in and get involved in our heat readiness and mitigation stuff, you think?
Sure.
Or just plan events? We want you to do that too.
Yeah. I think it helps. We're in Arizona, so it's definitely a thing we deal with most of the year.
Yeah. We have some great parents. So one of the heads up is that I'm going to start sending some invitations out for a special meeting in May for our Family Lighthouse Committee to be reinstated and re-energized for next year for the new principal, Mr. Johnson. And because we need to he doesn't know our traditions and culture. So if I get the parent group in, we can help guide. And he's a good man and he already knows Leader in Me and stuff. But I think if we help him and keep our culture and some plans going, we won't wear him out either. All right, any final questions or comments? Mary, thank you so much. And I'm so happy to have been part of the process with Adora from the very conception of the idea. And so we're a happy champion of your work in ASU.
Oh, and we're so happy that Paideia was a part of it. It was such a fantastic school. Just everything about you guys.
Now, if any of my friends out there are listening, what I meant was ASU's work here, not their football team or their basketball team. Because I'm a Utah fan. That's where I graduated. So don't hate me.
Don't misquote me.
Like, come on. All right, here's what we got coming up in 2 weeks, because next week there's no school on Friday, right? So parents, here's what's coming up. In 2 weeks, I'm going to have some special guests to talk about student retention. When is it beneficial to retain a student, have them go through their grade again? And I know it's a charged subject. It's fraught with emotions and fraught with, so I just want to open the discussion and help to increase understanding of when that is a great tool for our scholars. All right, Mary, thank you so much. Chelsea, thanks. Parents, thanks. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.